With the 2023 NFL Draft coming up, I am going through the best of every positional group in this class. This is the 10th and final adaptation of the series, this time going through the top 10 safeties. And a lackluster positional group that in my opinion is better than the consensus. These are the 10 best safeties in the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm Chase Keller, and I hope you enjoy. Kicking off this list with the 10th best safety, I have Jartavius Martin out of Illinois. The Illini have 3 draftable safeties in this class, with me putting Kendall Smith in honorable mentions, and Martin being the first of 2 in the top 10. Martin's zone capabilities are phenomenal already, and he has further upside as an all-around safety, whether it's free safety or strong safety. My favorite part about it is his route squeezing abilities. With very solid anticipation, he clicks and closes very well, and this ability surprisingly does not duplicate into man coverage. He also does very well in deep zone coverage, staying ready to jump a route or disturb a ball's trajectory. His all-around safety efficiency gives him the scheme versatility for the NFL, allowing any team with safety needs to select him and place him as a free safety, strong safety, or even nickel defensive back. I noticed his most efficient plays in the deep game, but in nickel and box situations, he showed success as well. He also has very solid vertical capabilities to be a threat in the red zone. He has good ball skills with an elite vertical jump coming in at 44 inches, which was the best at the 2023 NFL Combine. To utilize his vertical capabilities to the max, he needs to unlock at least an average man coverage skill set to extend out towards the outside corner position on jump ball plays. He leaves too much space in off man and allows both receivers and tight ends to get a step ahead and press. Leaving too much space is very present in film, and his click and close abilities almost disappear when going one-on-one. He also has under average play recognition and awareness, often losing track of what is happening on the field. In the box, he jumps on play actions, and in deep zone, he is often too aggressive and has a tendency to be faked by just the quarterback's eyes. Finally, his contact balance is merely average, as especially for his NFL typical frame, he loses assignments and may get dusted by tight ends or upfield blockers on run plays at the next level. Overall, Martin has a solid skill set with mental triggers that can be fixed to evolve his game. Utilize him right, and he is a very solid safety. My grade for Martin is a C, translating to a 4th round talent. At number 9, I have Notre Dame and former Northwestern safety Brandon Joseph. Joseph's skill set is a little inconsistent, but as an overall safety, he edges out a spot on this list. His best skill is his deep zone ability, seeing a lot of opportunities to lock down an area and give other defensive backs extra support if they are struggling. In his film, I noticed a lot of plays where the quarterback looked away from Joseph, understanding that his very good ball skills could hawk his way to an interception. The stat book reflected these successes as he had 10 interceptions in 3 seasons, including a 6-interception redshirt freshman season. His transitions in zone are also great, as he not only pressures the opposing receiver, but he also stands his ground in his assigned zone, not allowing any balls to be thrown his way. These transitions are smooth, whether it be a pedal transition where he moves from his back pedal to cover a comeback receiver, or a player-to-player transition where he passes on and receives a different assignment with ease. Joseph's current open field tackling abilities are well under average, and that's my least favorite trait of his. He has an inconsistent technique which sometimes shows success, but he often relies on his hit power to make tackles, but against bigger and stronger running backs, receivers, and tight ends, his strategy will fail to succeed. Yet, he has a nice tackling upside, as he has a nice tackling motor flashing some great technique and angle signs. He does struggle in man coverage though, as he is not good with route breaks and often leaves too large of a cushion in off man. Add this onto his mediocre open field tackling abilities, and he may become a big liability in man coverage. He also lacks a top tier acceleration and explosion, and while he does have a high motor, the explosion will often make him miss opportunities to click and close on routes and lowers his man coverage upside. As a prospect, Joseph is a developing defender, but as a deep safety, he brings success and efficiency to the table. My grade for Joseph is a C+, translating to a mid to late 3rd round talent. Coming in at number 8, I have Boise State safety J.L. Skinner. This guy has a great name along with some other safety prospects, but his name isn't as great as his game. Skinner will provide any NFL team with the ability to anchor the deep zone in elite fashion, giving his fellow defensive backs opportunities to cover a receiver man-to-man. He is a very reliable option at free safety, but even at strong safety he showed success, finding solid efficiency in the box and in the middle of a cover 3 set. He has nice route mirroring capabilities with heads-up intelligence and good transitions if needed. He also provides good run support and containing abilities against any level of back. Boise State played Air Force in 2022, which is a team that loves to pound the football, and he was great at containing on the outside while also providing good gap control for any defensive lineman who may miss that gap. He also has great anticipation and click and close abilities in both man and zone. He is always aware of when the ball arrives, and he uses his nice ball skills to either intercept the pass or deflect the ball away from the receiver. Skinner came up with 4 interceptions and 6 pass breakups in 2022, which is a great number for a Division I prospect. Skinner comes with some issues though, starting with his mediocre play strength. He has subpar contact balance and struggles to stay on his feet when attacking bigger and stronger guys. He has a very nice build at 6'4", 209 pounds, but he has a lean lower body, giving opponents a clear point of attack and taking away further run support upside. He also has angle inconsistencies when going into the run tackle, taking away even more run support upside. On some plays, he is sometimes overly aggressive or too content, leaving a missed opportunity to make a tackle. Throughout the film, he often had a backup to make the tackle instead, but missing a couple of yards could be big at any point. With that being said, he may be a little scheme specific. A cover 1 and cover 3 heavy scheme will be his desired placement, as any other scheme could lose him the opportunity to give his all and he could show the run the deep game by himself. Skinner has a very high ceiling with a low-ish floor, but I wouldn't necessarily call him a boomer bust prospect. He is elite as a cover 1 deep safety and has potential in cover 3, but he is a tad scheme specific. My grade for Skinner is a C+, translating to a mid to late 3rd round talent. My number 7 safety on this list is Penn State's Jair Brown. Brown was one of the most productive safeties in the country last season, and his consistency caught my eye. I love Brown's motor, which immediately showed out on film. His top gear speed is a bit lackluster, but he is very explosive and continues to keep his speed throughout the entire play. When someone may shift off, he changes his direction as soon as he can and plays his heart out again. On one play, he missed a sack opportunity and fell forward, but immediately got up and continued his pursuit for the sack. In the backfield, he is disruptive in run support, especially from the box. He showed great gap control and containing abilities while adding a nice tackle technique and solid play strength to get the back on the ground. Past the line of scrimmage, he does make open field tackles pretty easily and has a nice skill set to wrap a back around. In both zone and off man, he also has very good click and close abilities. He has nice anticipation, and while his hips aren't as fluid as desired, he still has surprising route squeezing for his abilities. Brown's negatives start with the lack of lateral movement ability. He has great straight line movement, including good pedal transitions, but when it comes laterally, he allows too much separation in man, along with the lack of fluidity in his hips as I mentioned before, and he could lose a lot of progress throughout his progressions as a defensive back. His focus is also a bit lackluster as he is faked easily by combo moves with wide receivers and eye and arm faked by quarterbacks. He is eager to jump to the ball as mentioned in his motor, but the ease to fake him could dawn at the next level. A little minor concern is Brown is pretty developmental, but he isn't great at anything. He doesn't have any elite traits, alignments, or physical attributes. He is very consistent and does have a lot of good traits, which is desired, but he doesn't have an elite trait, which brings his stock down. Overall, I like Brown to be a consistent backup in the NFL with the potential to be a reliable injury substitute for any NFL team due to scheme versatility. My grade on Brown is a C+, translating to a mid to late 3rd round talent. At number 6, I have the second of 2 Illinois safeties on this top 10 list with Sidney Brown. As an extremely productive safety in one of college football's best defenses, he will immediately appeal to scouts with his eye for the ball. Yes, he has a great eye for the ball, but his all-around ball skills are something to note. Let's get the obvious out of the way. He can jump passes and pick off balls left and right. He has very soft hands and can almost catch balls like wide receivers. For general ball skills, he has solid click and close and often competes at catch point to deflect the ball. He also has very good versatility with his great athleticism. Starting with his athleticism, he has great general speed and explosiveness with the extra recovery factor along with solid lateral movement. The athleticism brings in a lot of positional and alignment versatility, especially when you include his nice play strength. He does have some man coverage concerns currently. He is solid at mirroring routes initially, but after the route breaks, he often loses connection and allows for significant separation. His backpedal is just average, and breaking out of that himself is just okay. He also leaves too much space in off-man as well. His tackling consistency is partially a mental issue, as he sometimes just forgets his technique and allows a running back, receiver, or tight end to slip through his grasp. The angles aren't great on his end either. He also has subpar length at safety, with his wingspan entering in the bottom half of all safeties. I'm an Illini fan, and I've seen Brown higher than 6 on some lists. Actually, his consensus is the 4th safety off the board. I can totally see it with the solid all-around skill set that is NFL ready. My grade for Brown is a C+, translating to an early 3rd round talent. Starting the back half of this list, I have Jamie Robinson out of Florida State. While the ball production isn't particularly there, he has a very nice skill set that should translate pretty well. The ball production may not be there, but the run production definitely is. 99 total tackles with 46 solos and 5 tackles for loss in 2022 speak for itself. He has very nice tackling with good anticipation, technique, and play strength. He is a very physical tackler in the backfield, whether it comes through gap control or blitzing situations. He is also smart all around the field in both pass and run situations. He is a disciplined safety with great awareness and play recognition, and runs the play best for himself and his team. He takes smart angles at tackles and jumps passes with good angles as well. He has a big motor with the smart decisions as well, which combined brings a very dedicated defensive back. His anticipation and route squeezing abilities are there too. He doesn't have the greatest man coverage skill set, but in all aspects of coverage, he hits anticipation marks very well, and as I just mentioned, he has good angles in the pass where he can jump passes and make plays. He may need improved ball skills to make this efficient in the NFL. As for the negatives, he doesn't have an appealing deep game upside to me. He has nice pedal transitions in zone, but he doesn't have great deep speed, and he may stick to the box for that reason. He also struggles at the catch point in some deep situations, and he doesn't have a great vertical skill set, jumping only a 33.5 at the combine. He also has leverage concerns, but it's not a lost cause for the NFL. He just needs development. He doesn't tend to play too aggressively at some points, and his okay change of speed and direction will make him prone to miss tackles altogether. He also has mediocre block deconstruction against stronger offensive players, and with a lean frame at 5'11", 191 pounds, he may lose the hand placement. As a prospect, Robinson is a very solid safety in a mediocre safety class. He comes so close to starting the trend of second round selections, coming in at a B-, being the best 3rd round talent on my big board. At number 4, I have Texas A&M safety Antonio Johnson. I see him as high as the 2nd best safety in this class, and while I can understand it, he still has some developmental pieces to make it that far. The positives start with his play strength. He is a very strong and physical defensive back with the ability to impact the run game as a tackler and the pass game as a hand-heavy press defender and a block in zone. He has great block deconstruction from any blocker with great leverage all around and a high impact hit power. I want to expand a bit on his leverage too. His footwork is surprisingly fantastic given his lack of fluidity, which I'll talk about here in a moment. His hand usage is fantastic, as I previously mentioned, and he overall always stays leveraged and poised in his movements and makes great plays to stop the run and the pass. He has a big versatile upside as well. Coming in at 6'2", 198 pounds, he has the frame to play anywhere. Regarding his traits, he had efficiency everywhere he played at A&M, especially in the slot. He could be a fantastic nickel corner in the NFL with the upside to be successful in both the deep game as a free safety and on the outside as an outside corner. His general upside is fantastic, but his versatile upside is going to have teams fall in love with him. One issue with that though, he doesn't have a true position, meaning a lack of positional identity. I dove a bit deeper into this when I scouted Jaquelin Roy as a top 10 interior defensive lineman, but I basically mentioned that it could be taken positively or negatively. Positively as an experimental piece, negatively as an unready NFL prospect. Outside of that, Johnson lacks discipline in multiple ways. He does tend to get too aggressive in the backfield and misses tackles due to bad angles. As well as in the pass, he gets too aggressive in his anticipation and can get faked easily in the NFL. He also lacks discipline through his holding, as I noticed a lot of clips where he got away with an obvious holding call. He needs to improve on his aggression and maintain it to a level where he can stay successful. Also to mention, he has subpar hip fluidity and lateral movement, which will affect him in man coverage with separation and in zone with transitions. Overall, Johnson is a raw prospect with the upside to be a versatile and effective safety in the NFL. I love his run support abilities, and an improvement in discipline will make him an immediate impact. My grade for Johnson is a B-, translating to a late 2nd round talent. Entering the top three, we start with the first of two Alabama safeties here, the first being Jordan Battle. I think Battle has linebacker alignment upside, and he already has a great pro-ready tape. Battle already has the safety versatility in terms of alignment, seeing efficient snaps as a deep cover 1 and 2 safety, a box safety, and even a nickel defensive back with both press and off-man experience. He was fantastic at all of these alignments, and adding on to that linebacker upside where he can play a pass-rushing linebacker and a Mike, he has so much versatility that teams are going to utilize as much as possible. His anticipation in zone alignments is fantastic. The timing that he has to interrupt the pass and click and close the route is ridiculous for a safety of his size. That adds on to the cornerback alignment versatility as the quickness of his squeeze just replicates that of a cornerback. The motor and hustle in Battle's game just adds an extra attribute to teams that will inevitably fall in love with his game. He has a heads-up attitude with a snap-to-finish mindset even if he is a non-factor or is out of the play completely. I love the way he never gives up in his game. The issue with Battle is the way he impacts the defense. He has great coverage abilities and versatility, but he is missing out on the run support. He has subpar play strength and iffy tackling technique. What he does have going for him is the way he weaves through traffic without contact, and that can make him great in run support if he develops, but the tackling needs immense improvements. Man coverage is also a solid issue for him. He is overly aggressive in man who often falls a step late in separation, especially in press coverage against speedier receivers. Against tight ends, he is pretty solid at maintaining his mirroring abilities, but against receivers, he needs to improve in the press. As a prospect, Battle is a high upside defensive back with heavy versatility and more versatile upside. He has some developmental improvements, but he still has the opportunity to be a big impact. My grade for Battle is a B, translating to a mid-second round grade. Christopher Smith out of Georgia may be lower on some boards, but he comes in as my number 2 safety. I love Smith, and he saves this class from being very thin at the safety position. His safety versatility absolutely shines on film, as in different alignments and zone defenses, he showed a lot of efficiency at Georgia. He is great at jumping routes and medium zone plays with cover 1, 2, and 3 altogether. In the box, he has solid run support with good hit power yet inconsistent tackling abilities. As a deep zone guy, he holds his ground with no problems. His ball skills are great as well. At catch point, he consistently interrupts the pass, but against taller receivers, he may struggle with a lack of length. Despite that, he makes some of the best click and close plays in this class, and he has great timing when jumping his passes. He had the production to follow that up with 6 interceptions in his last 2 seasons at Georgia. He's smart when he does this too. He knows his abilities very well, and he knows when jumping is the best idea or not. On some plays, he intelligently stays back to make the tackle to his best of ability instead of playing the risky game of being aggressive and potentially allowing a big play. On the downside, he stands at 5'11", 192 pounds with a leaner frame, preventing his play strength from expanding out any further. He's not great with block deconstruction, and he loses an immense amount of opportunities without great play strength. His length and range are also concerning when discussing his frame. He misses out on a lot of tackles that he could make with further length and range. The range can be developed with better body control, so hopefully he can improve on that. Instead, he makes a lot of plays relying on his athleticism, and it's very inconsistent. I'm talking about his closing burst, where he sometimes hesitates to make the tackle, and elusive backs and pass catchers leave him in the dust. On some plays, he is a bit aggressive and can be prone to late hits and uncontrollable body control. Smith as a prospect is fantastic, and I liked his consistent impact on film. He has an NFL-ready tape, and I'm not surprised to see him higher on some boards. My grade for him is a B+, translating to an early second-round pick talent. A guy who has fallen for me throughout the last month or so still ends up as my number 1 on this list. Brian Branch from Alabama is a safety prospect that NFL teams look for in every draft, and he is the most NFL-ready safety in this class. His tackling is my favorite of any safety. He may be a little late on his route squeeze, but in passing situations, he has the play strength to knock a receiver out of bounds, no matter the size, in the open field tackling and range to wrap up anyone with great technique and leverage. In run support, he has good block deconstruction to get the running back with his consistent technique and nice body control. Branch is also a very smart safety, possibly the smartest in this class. His football intelligence is through the roof, and he is always disciplined through his actions. He rarely makes a bad play and is never too reliable on anything in his skill set. He is also very patient through his progressions. Every Alabama safety was utilized in many different alignments, but Branch's versatility comes through alignments in deep and box. On both vertical sides of the field, he was used to rush the passer, defend the middle, defend deep, cover a slot, and more. On the downside, his combine showing was not good and he showed his athletic flaws. He doesn't have great explosion, okay top gear speed, and average lateral movement. He has range as I mentioned before, but once outside of that range, he may miss on opportunities to make the play. Speaking of these opportunities, he drops the effort on some of these plays, impacting his mental and work ethic portions of his stock. His motor is under average for this class, but it's worth noting that there are a lot of high motors near the top of this list. Overall, Branch is my favorite safety in this class. He has great run support abilities with coverage upside and great alignment versatility. This positional group isn't great but isn't paper thin, and Branch comes out as the best of the group. His grade for me is an A-, translating to a late first round talent. Thank you guys so much for watching this top 10 safeties list. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Chase Keller from Chase Keller Journalism, and thank you guys so much for choosing this channel as your source of sports coverage. See you guys in the next one.